Morning.
Morning.
Recording.
So, yeah, we're all recording now. Chris, we can just see the top of your forehead.
Now he's
No. Move the camera back down.
Some would say that's my best feature.
Yeah.
Better before. Right, shall we get proceedings underway? And we'll start off with John's news of the group, please.
News of the group. I was talking to Stuart yesterday. He had a 9-hour session at hospital last Wednesday, receiving blood, which is all right if you're a vampire, but a bit daunting for Stuart. But he was in good form when I spoke to him yesterday. He's okay. We're talking to Richard yesterday as well, and he's excited because, like me, he's had a haircut. It was very ebullient. Get that word? Ebullient. Yeah.
Word of the day. I'm getting mine done this after.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That what the barber said? That what the barber said to him, John? Do you want some ebullient for the weekend?
Those were the days. I didn't know what he was talking about until we were about 47. Yeah. Chris from Manor is holding a small garden get-together this Thursday, just testing the water, just see how it goes. Just a few people from Arbourthorne. When they're not pinching car tyres and stuff like that, they'll be in Chris's garden.
Or shooting each other.
Stereotyping, that's stereotyping.
They've advanced to shootings these days, haven't they, on Arbourthorne?
They have, you're right. I think Lowell's leading them.
I was born on Arbourthorne as well. Hang on.
So was I. Weren't like that when we were there, Keith, was it?
It wasn't. Me and Glennish were born on Arbourthorne.
Well, much worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I got Sandra put a fella called Matt Pennington in touch with me. He turns out to be the new Northern coordinator for Sporting Memories. And he's invited me to a Zoom meeting this afternoon just to discuss what we're doing during lockdown and how we're running Sheffield. Because obviously we've still got a good reputation for doing good stuff at Manor and Crystal Peaks. So I'll be attending a Zoom meeting this afternoon, and I'll report back to you when I find out what it's all about. And he's wanting some advice and support from us, but he's also wanting to give us some advice and support. I don't know what about the advice, but support and maybe financial support at some stage when we get up and running again. So that could be interesting. Just an advert. I've put it out on the WhatsApp group, but there's one or two of you here who aren't in the WhatsApp group. One of the lads who I mentioned earlier on, Stuart from Manor, he's got a computer table that he's trying to give away free. It's in very good condition, he tells me. It's black metal legs. It's got a glass top and a glass shelf. And I put the dimension. It's not a huge table, but it's certainly big enough to get a PC or a laptop on. So if anybody wants a free computer table, then Stuart Schumann, just let me know. Okay. I bumped into Eric on Saturday while I was queuing trying to get into Wilco. And Eric told me that he'd had a bit of a fall on Saturday morning, just falling over some furniture, but it was all right. And he was bouncing along in Crystal Peaks and looking good, and sent his love and best wishes to everybody.
Nice.
That's me lot.
Right. Just to add to that, I went and saw Cyril last Friday to pick up the pictures that he'd drawn for me. If you're on WhatsApp, I'm on WhatsApp. They're amazing drawings. He did 3 United people in a week. They're terrific. I mean, you know, all right.
They're excellent quality.
Yeah,
brilliant.
And he found out some of his secret books, or should I say, Anita dug out some of his secret books.
Oh,
his pin-ups.
What? His pin-ups, yeah.
Under mattress.
Under mattress, yeah, and including Marilyn Monroe stark naked. So
Cyril, nice one.
Nice one, Cyril.
The bidding stands up.
Shows he's got taste.
Certainly.
Yes, exactly.
Did he show you that one of Bessie Braddock?
No.
That's the
John,
only day.
as a lad, John, I've sat
On a bearskin rug, John.
as a lad, John, I sat on Bessie Braddock's knee
Yeah.
in 1950.
I'm not sure you should be telling us this. Yeah. Was it nice? Was it soft and plump?
She
Bessie
was,
know?
hang on, for all her aggressive nature that people portray, she was actually a lovely lady. You know, she was a big lass, and she had that sort of stern look about.
Oh
her.
yeah.
But she actually, in fact, had a heart of gold, and you could tell it even as a boy of 7. You know, I got lost in her unmentionables, but that's another story. When she gave me
Still trying to find his way out.
Nurse Gladys Emmanuel.
Yeah, absolutely. Grenville.
Grenville.
Right.
I think be editing that, Peter, I think.
We better move on from this titillating conversation and let Lol get on with his news of the week.
Okay, lads. Starting with Formula One. Now, with the last practice session washed out due to torrential rain, qualifying for the Styrian Grand Prix started 45 minutes later than scheduled in very trying conditions, with drivers reporting poor visibility and aquaplaning. Lewis Hamilton showed his prowess in wet weather to take pole position
I beg your pardon.
for the 89th time in his career out of 252 races. He won the race on Sunday with a comfortable victory by nearly 14 seconds over Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas. Red Bull's Max Verstappen, who was overtaken by Bottas late on, came third. Both Ferraris retired early after colliding with each other on the first lap. Now, I've just mentioned that Hamilton got his 89th pole. Now, in the league tables, he leads that by miles. Do you know who comes second in pole position numbers over the years?
Schumacher.
Correct. Do you know how many he got?
Yeah.
Not as many as Lewis.
78.
A bit less than that.
60 something, isn't it?
63.
60 something, yeah. 68 he got. So there's a massive margin already by Hamilton.
Lol,
Right. Yes, hello.
where is Styria? I thought it was.
It's the Austrian Grand Prix. They call it Styrian Grand Prix.
Sorry,
It's the,
I talked
the
earlier.
Red Bull Ring.
That's what the area is called where the circuit is, isn't it? And they couldn't call it
It's the
Austrian.
Red Bull Ring in Austria.
Yeah.
Austria.
It's from the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Okay.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Rugby Union. Now, Manu Tuilagi is set to keep his England career alive with a move to Sale after his acrimonious departure from Leicester was confirmed last Friday. He had been linked with a lucrative move abroad after refusing to accept a cut in his £500,000 a year salary. But he was determined to stay in the Premiership and remain eligible for England. The Rugby Football Union regulations prevent those who play abroad from being picked for England. The 29-year-old centre has 43 caps to his name so far. Did that come as a surprise to Ian that he went to Sale?
Yes, definitely. Very well kept. Secret. But a good news for Sale. Not so sure it's good for Tuilagi.
How can Sale pay him £500,000 a year?
There's another story behind that, Paul, that has yet to emerge. But somebody's suggesting a bit of a dodgy deal there.
That's what I figured.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that rugby are allowed to have regulations that stop you playing for England if you play abroad. It sounds incredible.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to trade.
Apparently they can give
All the home nations
Whoa,
have that
wait a
key.
minute,
All the home nations. Wales, Scotland and Ireland as well.
Yeah, but yes, Dave.
Apparently, they can give special dispensation if you play abroad, but they refuse to give it him. So that's why he stayed here.
Right.
He's got a bit of a reputation, I think, guys. He sails close to the wind, I would suggest. Allegedly, I
He'll be able
understand.
to now.
Allegedly.
He will do now.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Right.
Ian,
Yeah.
Ron?
sorry, Lol. Ian, do you think it's Wayne Rooney's situation where somebody's paying his wages?
I don't know. It's a good point. No idea. There's something dodgy, though. I mean, it was a lucrative deal abroad, but there's this hang-up about playing for England. And yes, he wants to do that, but he's never got on well with authorities. And I just got wind of the news on Radio 4 today, breaking news, that there was some wheeling and dealing at the highest levels within the Sales Club. A euphemism for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right then.
I'll edit
Yeah.
this out, though, because it's controversial.
Little bit on tennis. Now, Wimbledon, they are going to distribute £10 million of prize money to the 620 players who would have taken part in this year's championships.
What?
The Grand Slam event was cancelled for the first time since 1945 due to the big pandemic. The singles players who would have been in the main draw will be given £25,000 each, with qualifiers, doubles and wheelchair players also receiving money. That's kind of them, really, isn't it, to pay out some money for not playing.
Yeah.
A little bit on golf.
Yes, all on Lol.
Yep.
Chris.
Wimbledon have got coronavirus insurance.
Have they?
That was that's the big difference.
Blimey.
They got negotiated insurance with coronavirus.
How did they manage that?
They were the only Grand Slam organisation to have done it. They've all had it, I think.
Well, it makes you wonder what the premium is for that. Must be high.
Well, most people would have that on their travel insurance if they'd have purchased it before it happened.
Yeah.
So obviously you can pay for it.
Yeah, Brian?
Yeah, Wimbledon's had that insurance in place for about 20 years in the event of cancellation, and obviously never had to claim on it. But this year, it's proved to be a wise decision. So it's not something they've taken out this year specifically for COVID. It's been in place for last 20 years or so.
Yeah, so it's not COVID specific.
No, it's covered it. It just happens that they've taken that decision, I said, 20 odd years ago, and now it's, like any insurance policy, it's only good when you claim, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Ian?
I was just going to make the same point as John, but I put my hand up, you see.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Ian, I'm constrained here.
You look as if you're ready to be done. Throw the switch, Heinz.
Below the shoulders, I've got a straight jacket on.
I was wondering.
You can call her Jenny.
She's my truss.
Oh dear.
A trusted partner.
Get worse. Go on, Lol.
Okay.
Move on.
A little bit on golf. Now, Tiger Woods will play in his first PGA tournament since February at next week's Memorial Tournament in Ohio. The 15 times major winner pulled out of the Players' Championship in March with a back injury. I've missed going out and competing with the guys, said 44-year-old Woods. But the PGA announced yesterday that there will be no spectators at any of the season's remaining tournaments. So they made that decision already.
Do you think he's stoking up problems for himself with a back injury that keeps coming back?
Yeah. Yes.
Excuse the pun, yeah. I mean, you hear about all these rugby players and what have you that have injured. I mean, even the Ironman football that played for Liverpool, Tommy Smith, it gets you in the end, all those tough
He's a wreck.
The upstairs phone that you passed down is on the table.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Make me coffee if you want.
All right then, right, Lol.
Okay, a bit of cycling news. Now, Britain's most successful road cyclist, Chris Froome, is to leave Team Ineos at the end of the season after they decided not to renew his contract. He will join Israel Startup Nation for next season as sole team leader. He spent 10 years with Ineos, in which he won the Tour de France 4 times, and is set to compete for them again at this year's tour, but for the last time. And that begins on the 29th of August. Right, go on.
I hope they've got plenty of cough medicine for him. Yes, Paul.
And that's if they choose him. They may not pick him.
Who may not pick him? The Israeli team?
No, Ineos may not.
Oh, Ineos. Yeah, Ineos, sorry.
Not to ride him in the team. They've already got Egan Bernal, who they think, well, he won it last year, so he's obviously got a chance, and Geraint Thomas. To have 3 potential winners within their team might be a bit counterproductive, they think. They may not pick him.
How old is he now?
Is leaving.
They might as well.
How old is he now, Paul?
I'm sorry?
How old is he?
He's 35.
Well, he's still got a bit left then, hasn't he?
He has, but it is a little bit unknown because of the injury that he got last year. He's only competed once since then, so they're not certain that he's quite going to be up to the job. But I think because they're saying that, he'll do everything he can to prove them wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Great competitor.
Yes.
Okay. Cricket. Now, England lost a gripping first test to the West Indies, who were helped to a 4-wicket win by Jermaine Blackwood's 95. Chasing 200 on the final day in Southampton, the tourists were reduced to 27 for 3 and lost opener John Campbell retired hurt. But the nerveless Blackwood, who was dropped on 5, 20 and 29, although the last drop was a no ball, calmly combined with Ruston Chase in a stand of 63, followed by a stand of 68 with Shane Dowridge. Man of the match was fast bowler Shannon Gabriel, who took 4 for 62 in England's first innings and 5 for 75 in the second innings for overall match figures of 9 for 137. It means the West Indies now take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series, and they've not won a series in England since 1988. And after the match, Michael Vaughan says that Joe Denley should be moved to one side. In the last 8 test innings, they've all been under 40. He's managed to get 25 on 8 occasions, but he's never progressed much further. So I think it could be a mental thing with him, concentration.
Yeah.
Anybody, any thoughts on the cricket?
We lost it in the first innings.
Yeah.
First day.
Yeah.
We lost it on the toss.
Batted terribly in that first innings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian?
Actually, we lost it at the toss. He should
lost
never
before a
have
ball was
batted
bowled.
first.
Why did they leave Broad out? You know, most successful bowler for the last 12
Yeah.
months.
Did you see his
And,
interview?
He was very angry about it.
Yeah.
Brian?
If they move Denley to one side, won't it be easier for them to bowl him out?
Don't make any difference. He's playing that poorly.
Yeah.
He's a very good player.
Yeah, it is.
I think Josh Buttler's a
Concentration.
good player, but I don't think he's a test
think
match
Butler's-
player. I think he's a one day player, Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think that they should have a specialist in that position, a wicket keeper.
Yeah.
I think they should play Fouts.
Yeah.
So you say that it's the first
He's a
innings
good
they
guy.
did it, but in the second innings they just had a collapse again, didn't they? From a really good score, they lost the last 6 or 7 wickets for very few runs.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fowkes was in the squad, wasn't he, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he'll get there. They're talking about bringing Bairstow back, but I think you're right. Fowkes is the best wicket keeper by far.
He might
And I mean,
walk-
they've got Chris Reed on coaching staff for these games, so surely he should have a bit of input into it.
I think it's mindset. You know, you get into a way of doing things. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it is broken, and I think Jonathan Agnew wrote a very good article saying, yeah, the absence of Broad is masking things. There are serious problems in the fragility of the England side at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well.
Okay. Right. Going to football now. Finally. Now, I've made a tribute out to Jack Charlton, who sadly passed away last Friday. If Keith gives me the chance to read it, maybe in the second session today.
Well, we've
and I've
still got plenty of time now.
So I can carry on. I'll do the football what I've got and see what's left. It takes 5 minutes to read the tribute.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, Man City have successfully overturned their 2-year ban from European club competitions. The Court of Arbitration for Sport announced yesterday the club were cleared of disguising equity funds as sponsorship contributions.
Nightmare, this with noise and that.
UEFA, hang on, lost concentration, disappearing. UEFA issued the ban in February, ruling City had committed serious breaches of financial fair play regulations between 2012 and 2016. City's fine has been cut from €30 million to €10 million to be paid in 30 days. The fine was imposed for not cooperating with UEFA over this situation. Any comments on the Man City?
Just don't weird us lucky, and we won't be.
You don't know, John.
Financial fair play is dead for the rich clubs.
I was just going to say exactly the same. Yeah.
It might be dead for the rich clubs, but it won't be dead for us. You can bet they'll make an example of us.
Why?
They obviously had better solicitors.
I think, John, they won't now.
You what, Ron?
I think they've got to be careful now because it will look as though there's one law for the rich and one law for the poor.
Yeah.
I think with Wednesday, the crime is how long they're waiting to tell them.
Yeah.
But since when has football differentiated between rich and poor? They never treat rich clubs
always.
Exactly. So, as regards the wait for Wednesday, I think it would have been dealt with many weeks ago had it not been for the virus. So I don't think you can lay.
Well, what they've been doing during lockdown, they've had no else to do.
Keith, the tribunal finished 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Brian.
I think they're waiting to see how many points Wednesday are above the relegation zone, and then it'll be that number +1 as a sanction.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, but if they do that, there'll be a court case. He won't accept it, and he'll win.
Dave, Red?
Case is still on apparently, and they're due to get to know end of this week.
Right.
That's what I understand. That's what I've heard.
We might have some news for you next week then.
Yeah.
I should carry on. Now, some 5,000 fans were allowed into the stadium to watch Paris Saint-Germain's first pre-season friendly, a 9-0 win over host Le Havre. So they have decided to let fans into the stadiums in France then. Did you know that, Brian?
Yeah, I'd read it, but whether I don't know how big the stadium was. It might be a 40,000 stadium where they've let 5,000 people in. So,
Manchester United are the first team in Premier League history to win 4 consecutive games by 3 or more goal margins. Unfortunately, Sheffield United figure in one of those matches.
Sure.
I think it's the worst defeat we've had this season now. A younger brother of Tottenham's...
Hang on, Lol, just saying, while we're on with runs, I don't know if everybody's aware, but United won 4 consecutive Premier League home matches for the first time. When they've been in the Premier League previously, they've never won 4 on the trot.
We've not been in Premiership that much, have you, though?
No, but in the seasons that we have been in.
And the first goal
I think we might have been in more than Wednesday now, though, aren't we?
I don't think so.
Been a lot more.
Keith,
Go
No.
on, Ian.
you did say 4.
4. All right. All
Four?
right.
Right, okay.
4. Two of
Two of
them.
those.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah.
Mute him, Keith.
Anyone's read the paper yesterday, but Redknapp has actually publicly apologised for having written United off, along with the 11 other Daily Mail reporters. He's the one putting his hand up saying, I got that a bit wrong. So credit where credit's due. You know, he's done well to make that comment. The others are remaining silent.
A lot of pundits are doing the same, Chris, on radio. All the pundits apologising.
Garth Crooks has probably not even remembered what he said in the first place.
Perhaps he qualifies to join Sporting Memories then. Can't
Yeah,
remember.
it probably does, actually.
If he joins, I'm leaving.
Right.
Now, a younger brother of Tottenham's right back, Serge Aurier, has been shot dead outside a nightclub in the French city of Toulouse. Christopher Aurier died in hospital after being shot in the stomach yesterday morning in the early hours. He was also a footballer and played for Rodeo Toulouse in the French 5th division.
He was gutted.
That's a sick joke, Ian. Now, last night, Wickham have been promoted to the Championship for the first time in their history after beating Oxford 2-1 in the League One playoff final at Wembley. This comes 6 years after almost dropping out of the English Football League. So they've done very well. I don't think...
It's a pity they've got the manager that they've got, in a way. He's done well, but he's the guy who finished Dane Whitehouse's career.
That's correct, yes, yeah.
And
forgetting that.
Remind me, Keith, who is it?
Ainsworth.
Gareth Ainsworth.
Gareth Ainsworth. Yeah.
Dead long hair.
Yet to apologise.
Yet to apologise, and he's never been back to Bramall Lane since Dane Whitehouse's dad got on the coach.
He got on the bus, threatened him.
He got on the bus and had to drag Whitehouse's dad off the bus. And every time United have played Wickham, he's suddenly developed an injury or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Chris.
The shame there, guys, is that Dane Whitehouse is no longer in the game. As a relatively young man, he was wiped out by this thug, and this thug is still earning money from the game. That's the real irony, and it's very sad.
Yeah.
His kneecap was
Dave?
shattered, wasn't it, to bits?
Yeah.
He did make a bit of a comeback, didn't he? Played one or two games.
Played 6 reserve games, and he couldn't do it.
No.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, no. When you're saying about his dad getting on the team bus, that's absolutely true. Because I know Sid Whitehouse, and you know, he's to say he could be a bit of a thug as well, Sid. So I mean, he'd fight with anybody. So it's obviously hurt him very much that young Dane had finished like that. Yeah.
Yeah, John.
No, I was just curious. That obviously, he was from a bad tackle and he damaged his knee. I didn't know how he'd finished his career. So I didn't know what.
It was more than a bad tackle.
Yeah.
It was.
I was at the game. I was at that match against Port Vale. Were you there, Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there and I saw it, and it's the most cowardly thing I think I've ever seen. It's the worst late tackle I've ever seen.
Well,
but it was
you
also
obviously weren't there on the night that Ian Knight had his leg shattered against Chester. Dave Redfern. Yeah.
No.
Stamped on his leg, shattered it in 5 places.
Really?
Yeah,
Nearly died on the pitch.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
How much right?
All right. Just a bit on local news. Good week for the Blades last week. beating Wolves 1-0, Chelsea 3-0. Chelsea, first home win against them since November 1993. But the sad news is that striker David McGoldrick has been racially abused on social media at the weekend, following Zaha's episode. But you think they'll get him, the person that's done this?
Not sure.
They got the Zaha one. Have they got? I don't know whether the McGoldrick one. I
I
don't
think
know.
the police have got
him.
ways and means. They might trace
Yeah.
him. On Wednesday, they had a bit of a topsy-turvy week, losing 1-3 to Preston and then winning 3-0 away to QPR. Do you fancy that one, John? 3-0 away?
The Preston game thoroughly depressed me because although we've lost a couple before then, that's the worst we've played. We've played some good stuff, even in defeat since the comeback. But the Preston game was terrible. They should have been 3 or 4-0 up at half time, and fortunately they shot like we'd been shooting. And in second half, everything that could go wrong went wrong. It was a bizarre game. The fella who scored their decisive goal should have been sent off twice for punching 2 of our players in the face. But what can you do? But it was a thoroughly depressing game, as those on WhatsApp, our WhatsApp group, would know how much it affected me. The QPR game was a tremendous performance, probably best performance at season. Superb performance and a terrific third goal. You just wonder which Wednesday side's going to turn up.
Yes, Paul.
I just wondered how long it is since both Sheffield teams won by 3 goals on the same day.
Yeah, be a long
Both
time.
3-0.
Yeah.
Ian?
Do you get medication with Sheffield Wednesday season tickets?
You need it, Ian, you need it. I mean, seriously, if you follow a team as much as most of us do, so closely for so long, they do become part of your life. And so when things are going wrong, well personally, and I assume it's the same for most of us, it's very depressing because they mean that much to you. It's more than just watching football and men kicking a pig's bladder about. It actually means something to you. It's like a member of your family being hit or something like that. It's bad. Yeah, so I do need anxiety tablets, Ian, yeah.
Therapy, counselling.
Yeah.
Okay, lol.
Could we do that tribute to Jack Charlton? It takes 5 minutes.
You've only got 4, so let's wait.
No, we've only got
We'll
4,
leave it.
so
It takes 5.
We'll start at the beginning of the next one, and
We can
then
do a quiz now for a bit.
then Paul the Biscuit's going to do a piece on Peter Norman, the athlete, the New Zealand athlete, was he?
Australian. Yeah.
Australian.
Yeah.
So
It's only a
that
short.
should be-
It's only a short thing. That's not a long job.
in just general things, the government have said social sport can start up again, but there are quite a few hoops to be jumped before it can happen. Each individual sport's got to come up with a COVID action plan that has to be approved by the government before they can move forward. And although
Has
cricket,
it got to be approved by Michael Gove or Boris Johnson?
probably both of them, and one will approve it and one won't. That's where we are. But Brian, yeah.
My understanding is that the FA have submitted their plan for local football, or the resumption of local football, and the early feedback is that it's been well received. So that's quite promising for a start in the not too distant future.
Yeah. The problem's going to be is that the schools close next week, and with many teams playing on schools' premises, I don't think clubs will know whether their pitches are going to be available or what facilities are going to be available for a while yet. So even though teams might be allowed to play games, I think we're a long way away from getting a structure, a league structure. But that's just my opinion. Yep. Dave?
Yeah. I know the local field near me, they've actually taken the goalpost down now. Noticed yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Well, somebody's nicked him, you mean?
Well, I don't think so. But there's 2 pitches there, and they've taken the goalpost down.
Yeah. Paul?
Don't schools take them down at Easter, Paul? Don't they take normally take the goalpost down at Easter?
In the olden days, yeah, things have changed
Yeah.
a little bit. It depends how efficient your ground staff is. Yeah, I went to watch my son play cricket on Saturday, and that looked fairly normal.
Yeah.
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 He was the wicket keeper, and he's fairly close up to the batsman. But obviously he was the only fielder that was close to anybody else.
Right, we've now got less than a minute, so Chris, can we do you?
Could I just ask Lol to check his obituary notes, because I would hate him to make an error like Gary Lineker did on Saturday night.